In the past few weeks, the mysterious rare syndrome in children that doctors say seems to be related to the coronavirus is raising more questions. According to the governor's count, there are now 2 cases in Kentucky, a 10-year-old Mike mentioned who was on a ventilator, and a 16-year-old. Evening Edition's Claire Kopsky brings us more clarity on the syndrome with explanations from a Kentucky Children's Hospital pediatrician.
More than 100 children in the U.S. have been diagnosed with the syndrome that doctors are still learning about, including here in Kentucky.
What is being reported is something that they're calling pediatric multi-system inflammatory syndrome. And what it essentially is a disorder where the immune system is causing inflammation that's kind of running haywire.
Dr. McTighe says that inflammation is primarily affecting blood vessels, which resembles Kawasaki disease.
What we don't yet know is whether this is actually Kawasaki disease that's being triggered by the COVID-19 virus, because we know that there are viral triggers for Kawasaki disease even prior to this pandemic, or whether this is just a direct manifestation of the virus itself, where some kids are just having a more serious inflammatory response to it, or whether it's potentially some combination thereof.
Regardless of how it's manifesting, he says the risks for the syndrome and for contracting the virus are still low for children.
We have run 595 tests on children aged 0 to 9 years, and only 3 of those have been positive. So that's a positive rate of 0.5%, which is exceptionally low. And in children aged 10 to 19 years, 266 total tests run through our emergency department with only 9 positive, for a positive rate of 3.4%. And once again, only 1 admission so far to our children's hospital for a child with COVID-19.
We also asked Dr. McTighe if the syndrome should cause worry for the start of school in the fall. He said right now it shouldn't.
Our data shows that the children have largely been spared, both in their rate of infection and also in the severity of their illness. So while any children with severe illness, that's tragic, and we would like to avoid that as much as possible, the overall risk to children still remains quite low.
A low risk that doctors and parents hope remains that way. In Lexington, Claire Kopsky, LEX 18 News.